Just level with me.
Welcome to Just Level With Me. I'm Mikey Payne, and this is a podcast of stories and favorite tunes from my friends and fellow fans of the greatest Brit funk band in the world, Level 42. I am so happy to introduce the first Scotsman on this podcast, Mr. Bob Mackey, joining us from Paisley, Scotland. How you doing, Bob?
Hi, Mikey. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. I'm not wearing one of your designs today, I'm afraid.
That's okay. Have you got a kilt on?
Yes, no. I need one. I need one.
Absolutely.
So how are things in Scotland?
Things are good. Yeah, all good here. As I've said to you just briefly before we came on air, my sister is in hospital just now, just about to have her baby. She's literally going into the theatre just now, so I'm very excited about that. And my lovely wife's with her, holding her hand, and I'm just waiting in the wings, waiting for the good news. So all good today.
So if we hear a woohoo during the podcast, guys, you guys will know why.
Absolutely, that's exactly why.
The waiting game has begun.
Yes.
Now, Bob, I've been all over the UK, but shame on me, I have never been to Scotland.
Oh, really?
And we actually were going to go because I was in the UK during the holidays last year, and we were going to go to Hogmanay last year, but I couldn't work it in the itinerary. And in a way, I'm glad I didn't go because it was canceled.
Of course, the storm.
Last year, yeah. So hopefully, I will make it up there to Glasgow and Edinburgh and other great places in Scotland.
Yeah, you need to come.
Yeah. What's there for someone that's never been to Scotland? What's there to see and do there?
So where I stay, Paisley, it's actually the largest town in Scotland. We are less than 10 miles from Glasgow. There's a very big rivalry between Glasgow and Edinburgh, where we stay in the west coast. And Glasgow's obviously miles better than Edinburgh. I'm getting into trouble for saying that. My town's very well known for its textile and thread manufacturing in the 19th and 20th century. And probably the most famous creation we have is the Paisley pattern, which is famous all over the world.
Wow.
Good few famous people came from Paisley. Jerry Rafferty. My mum actually went to school with Jerry, famous for Stealers Wheel, and everyone probably knows Stuck in the Middle with You from the film Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
And I was actually at school with Gerard Butler, the actor, who we were at school together, primary and secondary. And I've actually acted with Jerry in a school play, so I like to think I taught Jerry everything he was.
I bet you did.
Whether that's good or bad. So it's a busy kind of multicultural town. Lots of bars. And there's kind of only one nightclub worth going to in Paisley. It's called Vienna's, which I used to go to in my younger days. I don't go there anymore, obviously. But my stepdaughter goes there, and now, which makes me feel very old. Yeah, so that's Paisley.
Excellent. I cannot wait to make it up to Scotland. Between you and Mike Lindup, I can't wait to see the west coast of Scotland either.
It's beautiful, Mike. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. Before we jump into the level stuff that everyone wants to know about, what else are you listening to at the moment?
I'd like to think I've got quite a varied taste in music, Mikey. Just on Monday there, just 4 days ago, I was seeing the Divine Comedy in concert. I like lots of bands, big fan of Radiohead. I like Colin Hay. I listen to a lot of him. He's the lead singer with Men at Work. He's another Scottish boy as well.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He's from the west coast of Scotland as well. He moved to Australia when he was a kid, but he's very Scottish.
Wow.
He's a great guy to see in concert. I'm actually going to see him next month for the seventh or eighth time, I think.
Mm.
I like Roisin Murphy. She is fantastic. She was the lead singer with Moloko. I like about Prince, Radiohead, like I said. I like a lot of 80s stuff. That's my era, which obviously is my favourite 80s group is Level 42, but there's other ones in there as well, lots and lots. And I'm going to see Heaven 17 next month as well, actually, in concert. So I'll listen to anything as long as it's good. There's no such thing as a bad bit of music. It's just whether you like that music or not. All music's good.
Exactly. I love albums and things, but I love live concerts, and I always
Yeah,
have. I always have.
absolutely.
Now, Bob, we've actually never met.
No, I
Uh,
haven't
uh,
yet.
yet. But we came together in quite a, a fun circumstance in a way.
Yeah.
We're both members of the Ultimate Level 42 forum on Facebook.
Yes.
And I came across your post about AI driven lyrics, if memory
Yes.
serves.
That's correct.
And I saw your lyrics and decided to do something with them. Can you explain to me why you did those lyrics or what was the process of that?
So I do have an interest in how artists create their content, and it's a wonder to me that a band or an individual singer can write lyrics and write great tunes, and it amazes me. But obviously, there's a heavily it's a big thing just now with AI coming into the forum of things, and artists are worried quite rightly about their content being diminished or stolen or whatever. So anyway, I typed for fun in inverted commas into ChatGPT if they could create a love song in the style of Level 42. Now, I posted this on the Ultimate Level 42 Facebook group, which we're both members of, as you alluded to there. And it kind of stirred up a little bit of a hornet's nest, to be fair. I mean, I intended it as a wee bit of fun, but it clearly touched a nerve with fans who are worried about AI taking over creativity, which I completely agree with. However, even I was surprised by the outpouring of comments. And it was at this point you get in touch with me and told me they had added a tune to these lyrics. And then he sent me the finished article, and I was blown away by how good it sounded. It was absolutely amazing. I can't believe you were able to do that. It just shows you the power of AI that these things can be done.
Yeah,
So there
yeah.
you go.
The tune is called "Out of the Blue," and
Yes.
we're going to close the episode with that tune. And I've been playing around with AI music stuff, sort of the same
Mhm.
time you were doing the lyrics stuff, unbeknownst to me. And I used to not play keyboards and stuff, not classically, not like Mike, not nowhere even close to Mike. But because of a spinal injury many years ago, I really can't play well anymore, and I don't play.
Okay.
But I wrote a ton of lyrics over the last 20 and 30 years. I've got a giant book of lyrics.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, I want to see what this AI thing is all about.
Mhm.
And I obviously understand the concerns from artists, and like you said, quite rightly so. For me, I kind of viewed it as I don't have a band to really kind of demo out the stuff I've written, so let's see what I can do with this and see what happens,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So as a lyric writer, it was very conducive to that. And like when I put your lyrics in something had been working on and got the end result out of the blue, literally out of the
Mhm.
blue,
Yeah.
I was like, wow, and quite minimal effort, to be honest.
Really.
But I then understood why a lot of musicians and fans of musicians and fans of music are concerned about AI. Obviously there are companies that are being sued for, stealing content or stealing riffs or
Yes.
things of that nature. So I think it did open up, I think, a nice, with your post, it opened up a nice debate about AI and its place. And I guess it's one of those things, like any new technology, there are good things about it and there are bad things about it.
Well, yes. I mean, we can't put the genie back in the bottle. It's out there, and people can do good things like what you have done with micro kids, and it's you're making some content which is very level 42 esque, and I absolutely love it.
Thank you
But
very much.
you're welcome. But using AI as well, I think you do the same. Same thing that I do. There's an app. I'm sure there's lots of apps, but I was able to strip away some of the songs, so you just have the lyrics and you have the instrumental in the background, and it
Yes.
actually gives the songs a completely different dimension. You hear little things that you hadn't heard before in the hearing the whole song, and it's so clever. And you can hear the little bits of tunes here, bits that you never heard before. And I think it makes you appreciate songs more. And I've done that with quite a few of the Level 42 songs and a few other songs too, to be honest. So if AI can be fun, but it should be used in the right way, and let's
Right.
hope that will
Right.
happen.
Yeah, and I've done the same here on 42 FM. Especially last year, I stripped a lot of vocals out of tunes and was just listening to the instrumentals of
Yeah,
some of level stuff. And I remember
it's
one tune.
amazing.
I remember one tune in particular that just made my jaw drop, and it wasn't one I was expecting. It was "Dance on Heavy Weather,"
Oh, I haven't done that one yet. I'll have to
and
try that one.
there was so much underneath that song that I hadn't heard
Yeah,
before, and like overtime, and another really slow tune, "Last of the Moon." There
right.
was a
I haven't
lot
done
of
any of those.
Yeah, there were a lot of fretless bass sounds and stuff in there that I had not heard before. So, like you said, it's an amazing technology, but
Yes.
if I was an artist and owned copyrighted these tunes and stuff, I think I would be concerned too on how my material is being used, sort of thing.
Yeah, if it's being misused, you'd be pissed off, and quite rightly too. But let's hope things resolve. Who knows? Maybe,
Yeah. Well,
perhaps.
now I know you just got to see Level 42 recently on
Yes.
their 40th anniversary World Machine tour. Where did you see him and what did you think?
So I was actually on holiday in America. Well, we were in America. There was a few things we're doing, but it was a holiday too. So unfortunately, all the Scottish gigs clashed with when I was away in America. So when they announced the concert dates, I remember my heart sinking, going, "Oh my goodness, I'm not going to be able to see them." So I bought a ticket for the Gateshead gig, which was the closest one for me to get to. So I literally get back from America on a Sunday, heavily jet lagged, and went down on the Tuesday to Gateshead
Oh yeah.
and saw them at the Glass House there. And they were just as fantastic as ever. I mean, you know what you're going to get, especially because it's the World Machine 40th anniversary. You knew what the set list was going to be up to a point. Um, but they were just fantastic. I thought they were really, really tight this time. Probably a wee bit more than usual, I would say. Clearly, it was a big deal for them doing this tour on the 40th anniversary, and they were really tight and they sounded good and they seemed to be having fun together, doing a wee dancing about the stage and things like that, which is always good fun. But I think they were enjoying themselves and the crowd were certainly enjoying themselves. I was anyway, that's for sure. Absolutely loved it. They're just amazing live. If you've
Yeah.
never seen Level 42 live, then you have to do it at least once in your life
Oh,
because
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. And as we record this, they just played the Albert Hall last night,
yeah.
and it was sold out, the Albert Hall.
It's incredible,
So
isn't it?
fantastic. And I think they're, as this drops, they'll, I think, just be coming back to the UK from Europe to close
Yes.
out the year. When and how did you get into Level 42, Bob?
Well, I think probably a similar story to many people, I guess. So obviously it was back in when it started becoming a bit more popular. So I was 16 years old, when World Machine was released. And I was just at that age, when you're really getting into music, you're starting to find the bands and the style of music that you like. And LPs and tapes were inexpensive at the time. So I was starting to buy lots of music. Or if you were a bit naughty, you would tape your friend's LP onto a blank tape. And of course, a common thing to do back then in the UK was you would record the top 40 single countdown.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, on a Sunday onto your radio, from your radio onto a tape, where it was always a skill to press the pause button. So you did record the DJ talking, so that was fun. And at the time, the main place to watch artists and bands play their music was in a television show called Top of the Pops. I'm sure you're probably aware of it, Mikey.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So that ran for many years, and that's where every band wanted to play in order to raise their profile and obviously sell more records. If you're on Top of the Pops, it was a big deal. So I'd started to become aware of Liverpool 2 being played on Top of the Pops and Radio 1, which was the big UK radio station. And Something About You was being played a lot in September of 1985. I loved it as soon as I heard it. It was unlike anything else in the charts at the time. And I guess even as a naive kid, I recognised the great musicianship of the band. And it was just something different and something that I could get into. So World Machine was released in October 1985. I bought it on the day of release. I played it all weekend, I remember, front to back and back to front. And it wasn't a bad track in the album. Perhaps, maybe with the exception of Dream Crazy, which I guess I could take or leave. Other people may disagree with that. So there I was in a world where much of the music sounded similar, and I didn't really care too much about it. And suddenly I'd found this terrific band whose music I loved, and it made me open to hearing all sorts of other types of music. And I guess that's a habit which I've continued to this day. So over the next few months, I slowly bought the band's other albums. I found many gems. It's incredible the back catalogue they had even then. And I've been fascinated how the band's sounds developed and subtly changed over the years. And I've played the other albums to death. It was World Machine. It was always my go-to album. So yeah, that's how it all started for me. Just World Machine, and I guess Something About You was the catalyst, which really, that was the hook that got me into them. But there's so many great tracks on that album. It's hard to pick a bad one, to be honest.
Yeah, I can just imagine for you then, having just seen the 40th anniversary of that album, it kind of brought a lot of memories back for you.
Absolutely, yeah, it was terrific to hear it. It's such a good album, and the lyrically and musically, and just you can hear how good the lyrics were, and I'm so glad that they're still doing this tour. They're still doing this album, I beg your pardon, all this time later. It's still sounding so good and fresh. And I was at the concert a few weeks ago. There was a lot of young fans there, which I thought good. There's awesome. Maybe some dads there mums and dads who are getting their young ones into some good music and not just being spoon-fed the stuff that everyone else is listening to, which Level 42 is different and it's good. So I'm glad they're listening to it too.
Yeah, that's great to see a lot of younger audience start to we're seeing that in our Facebook group, a lot of younger fans coming on board and getting to do that thing that we got to do back in the day, is rediscover their back catalog. Yeah. And having that excitement. It's great to see.
Yeah. It's incredible. Like I say, the albums from the past, everyone likes the big hitters, the World Machine and Running in the Family, but there's so many other great albums out there. And they're very underrated.
Here. I agree.
Yeah.
Besides the 40th anniversary World Machine tour that you just saw, have you seen any other tours and gigs of theirs?
Yeah, Mikey. I was looking on a website trying to figure out how many gigs I've actually been to, and I couldn't quite do it. I mean, it's well into
1,500 and something, I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, I always joke. I always say I have an arbitrary number. I just say this is gig number 42, which it's
Uh,
not far off, to be fair.
uh,
Um, so Level 42 was the first band that I went to see in concert. I was 6 weeks shy of being 18 years old, and back then I didn't really do anything too exciting apart from I was working a low-paid job. It was quite boring, and all I would do at the weekends was go out and get a bit too drunk and nothing exciting. Anyway, Running the Family had been released in March of '87, and of course I bought that, played it non-stop. Well, in my humble opinion, it's not quite as good as World Machine, but I recognised that it was making them more well known and popular. It's lots of catchy
mhm,
tunes and
mhm.
great '80s videos. So the band were on tour, and I bought a ticket for their gig at the Edinburgh Playhouse, which was on Saturday, April 11th. So I made my way through to Edinburgh on my own on that Saturday afternoon. Just to be clear, Mikey, I never did anything like this. I barely left my hometown, so this was a really big deal for me to do
Right.
this. So I arrived through in Edinburgh. I was outside the Playhouse. And I saw lots of people with Level 42 t-shirts on, and they all looked as excited as me, and I felt very grown up. I felt, oh, this is something new for me. So I went for a pint in the nearby pub, just waiting to go into the theatre. So then I went to the Playhouse, and as soon as I entered, the atmosphere was incredible. I honestly could not believe it. I'd never experienced anything like this before, and I loved it. The noise was deafening, even before the gig started. And then the band came on, and I launched into the Chinese Way, and went to play, songs old and new, which obviously, as I said, I was just becoming familiar with at that time. I loved every minute of it. And I was kind of hooked on Level 42 and live music from then on, to be honest. It kind of made me want to go to a lot of gigs, which I still do. So they played 15 songs, and I remember I wished I could have bottled that night because I was so elated. I was just so excited that I was buzzing.
Yeah.
Um, so I was so excited that before I left the theatre, I went to the box office, and I did the next best thing to bottling it. I bought a ticket for the gig at the same venue for the following night. And the next day, I did the exact same journey to see them play the exact same set, which was absolutely fine. It was, there was wee different nuances here and there, but it was just the same set, but it was still amazing. So that was me. I was skint but happy. I had to run the dash back to the train station to get the last train home from Edinburgh to Glasgow. And it's crazy to think back now just how busy they were at that time. They were just at that stage in their career. They were recording new material. They were touring non-stop. And my gigs that I went to in Edinburgh, they were only a couple of months before they started touring with Madonna in America, which is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
We're kind of at the top of the game. And I'm really glad I got to see the original lineup more than once, because obviously things changed thereafter. So since then, I've wanted to see them every time they tour. Seen them numerous times, as I was saying. It's always been in Glasgow, apart from 2 Edinburgh gigs and the gig down in Newcastle. So that was me. That was my introduction. It was a baptism of fire. They were fantastic. It put fire in my belly and made me want to see them every time they played, which I have done, luckily. And like I say, it's made me want to see lots of other gigs too, which I've done over the many years since I first saw them.
Yeah, Bob, it's interesting you said that about your first gig there in Edinburgh because obviously people have heard me talk about my first gig was Brighton
Yeah,
Dome in '94.
of course. Yeah,
And of course, the next day was Albert Hall, which was supposed to be the last gig.
yeah,
But I remember after I was totally unprepared to hear them live. This wall of sound that washes over you when you
yeah. It's
first hear
incredible.
them live.
Yeah,
The concert was a blur to me. I was like on autopilot because I was so sensory overload for me.
of course.
Happy,
Yeah,
happy and blissful. And when the gig finished, I had to get back to the hotel to get up early to go to London the next morning, but I could not sleep. I was
yeah.
so excited. and so wound up that sleep eluded me that night.
That's exactly how I was the first time in Edinburgh as well, Mikey. To be honest, I was buzzing. I was so excited. So yeah, I get where you're coming from.
Have you had a chance to meet any of the band members or have any moments with them?
Yeah, I've been fortunate to meet some of the band members on a couple of occasions. In fact, only a few weeks ago at the Glasshouse gig, Mike was kind enough to come outside and talk to a few fans, including me, who waited at the stage door.
Mhm.
Um, as usual, he was warm and friendly. He gave his time freely. And I actually told him I'd be appearing on this podcast with the one and only Mikey Payne, and he was like, "Wow, wow!" So he was quite excited about that. So um, I guess the kind of funniest moment, although it wasn't funny at the time, with the band was in 2016, and they were playing the gig in Glasgow, and I had waited at the stage door with a group of other fans to meet them after the gig had finished. I'd obtained a set list from the stage, which is a wee hobby of mine. I actually got on our set list down at the Glasshouse gig as well. And I hoped they would autograph it for me when they came out. And of course, they wanted the customary selfie as well, which everyone does.
Oh yeah.
So eventually the band came out after an hour or so, and I started taking pictures of them on my phone. And then, much to my horror, the phone said the storage was full, and I would need to delete old pictures to take new ones. And I hadn't even spoken to the guys yet, so I hadn't even had my selfies yet. So I was ill. So I frantically started to delete old pictures.
Oh no.
Definitely, yeah, can you imagine? I definitely had the look of a crazy person, right in front of my favourite band, first time meeting them. However, there was a lovely lady who was at the gig there with her husband, and she stepped in and said that she would take pictures on her phone and she would send them to me, which she duly did, and disaster was averted. So I got my pictures with the band. I've never been more relieved or grateful to someone in my life. And if she's listening to this, thank you again. And in the words of a Level 42 song, you were my hero that day.
Aye, there's 40. That'll cost you 42p for that pun.
Yeah, it's a checks in the post. So that's so I've met them. I've met Peter Biggins, and I've met Mark and Mike, and other members of the band along the way. So yeah, it's always good. They do seem to appreciate the fans. It must be, after you've done a strenuous gig, it must be the last thing I guess they probably want to do.
Probably.
Because they're tired. They've got another gig the next night and they need to travel in a coach somewhere. So it's very good of them, very gracious that they'll take that time to speak to us fans. So thank you for that, guys. It is appreciated very much.
Yeah, because it's usually midnight, 1 a.m. by the time they come out, usually, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I was outside the Glasshouse. Mike came out about 11:30, 12:15. I spoke to some people, and then we're waiting on Mark. Peter Biggins had come out as well, and I got a picture with him. But I was kind of waiting on Mark and the other guys coming out, and it got till, I think it was 1:45 in the morning, and I thought, no, this is just crazy. It was just me and another couple of people there. I thought, you could be in there for another hour. And it was freezing cold. So I thought, when the guy finally comes out, let's just let him get on his coach and get to his bed. So I left at that point.
Yeah. And the band is always, I've talked about it on other episodes, and the band has always been so cool with their fans.
Very much so.
They really have. And the other thing that we've talked about and with other friends too is our fellow fans are just as welcoming and open, and that's even made going to the gigs even more fun because you get to see the band, but you get to run into friends too. That you've
absolutely. It's a great bunch. As you said earlier on, the Ultimately Level 42 Facebook group is so friendly, so warm and friendly. Lots of nice people, and when I go to the gigs, I recognise faces. And it's kind of there's a big community there, which would never be if it hadn't been for the band. People probably known each other, as I know you've said previously in podcasts. You've made lifelong friends, and you're meeting people. You're interacting with them and they become part of your life and you have this great shared interest. So it's amazing. And we wouldn't have that if it wasn't for the band.
Absolutely. Totally agree with you, Bob. Throughout Level 42's history and songs and music and things, do you have any favorite moments in history for Level 42?
So I guess my favourite Level 42 moments, just they've done a few things with time. They're not, to me, they're not just like an ordinary band who just go out and perform and just do bits and pieces. They'll do wee unusual, quirky things, which I like as well. Every gig I go to is special, and I always look forward to seeing them every couple of years. And I think it's important to cherish these gigs because we're lucky to have them touring all these years later. But I remember there was one time the band had to stand in for Frankie Goes to Hollywood at the last minute on a programme in the UK called The Tube, which was huge at the time. They grabbed the opportunity with both hands. They played live at 6 p.m. to the Nation, and they were amazing. And they appeared a quirky moment as they appeared on a comedy show. I don't know if you've heard of it over there, Mikey. It's called The Fast Show.
I've heard of it, but I don't know if our listeners have.
So it's just a very fast, as it alludes to in the title, sketch show. And one time, Level 42 randomly appeared at the end of it, and they were singing, I think it was Forever Now. I mean, someone will correct me on that probably. There were just things like that, and always like listening to Mark being interviewed because he's good value for money.
Yeah,
and he gets asked about his thumb being insured for £3 million for the 3 millionth time, and he just always is very sweet and patient with the answers, but he must just go, oh, not that bloody question again. But always is very, very generous with his time. So yeah, there's good things. When you hear them interviewed and see them get interviewed, Mark is very good value for money, and Mikey's always articulate, and they're just a good bunch of guys. And I love wee things like that. Actually, I watched a video this morning before I spoke to you, and they were on a magazine show in the UK. This was about 10 years ago, called The One Show.
Oh yeah,
and you're familiar with it. And Mark was getting interviewed down in the Isle of Wight, and he actually started talking about how what song was it? Let me get this right. Lessons in Love it was actually, and it'd been influenced by a song by Vera Lynn called "We'll Meet Again." Vera Lynn was a 1940s wartime sweetheart singer, and she sang the song, which I won't destroy by singing it just now. But Mark and Mike and the band used to play like holiday parks in the Isle of Wight.
Yeah.
And when they played the two songs together, you can absolutely see why it was influenced by that old song. So it's pretty clever, these wee influences and wee things that they probably had over the years, which have made these fantastic big hits that we have in the past and we still listen to today.
Wow, I didn't know that about Lessons in Love. I'll have to check that tune out.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's worth a wee watch, that video clip. It's quite interesting.
Do we have a baby yet?
Not yet. I've not had any flashes on my phone yet.
Okie doke.
Still waiting.
All right, the audience is waiting with bated breath here. If you could only take one album, Bob, to the hereafter, which one would it be and why?
I'd have to say it's got to be World Machine. To me, it's quite simply the best collection of songs on one album, and it was a big part of my life in my formative years. It got me into the band, and I never stopped listening to it. It's one that I would always play, at least once a month. Even to this day, I still play it. Albeit it's on, I play on Spotify these days, although I have got the album. But yeah, it's such a good album. It's just solid, and you can listen to any track you could pick from it, and you'd be entertained. And it's got some great tunes on there. I mean, I guess you could cheat a little bit and take Level 42's greatest hits album into the afterlife, and then you'd have you could have had the best of both worlds. But
Yeah,
I'd be allowed.
I've been waiting for someone to say level best on me on that one. Now we get to the fun part. Well, the rest has been fun, but now we get to talk about your top 10 tunes, Bob, and we're going to start with number 10.
Mikey, this gave me sleepless night, I have to say. I wrote that, I narrowed it down in inverted commas. I actually wrote down 40 plus songs and then listened to all 40 plus songs, and it changed and changed. But anyway, for today, this is my top 10. Starting at number 10. So this might be a wee bit controversial to start off with. It's from Retrograde, and my choice is Rooted.
That's a great tune.
Yeah.
Great tune.
The band sound changed with every album, subtle changes, and changes to every album and with the lineup as well. But I really like the sound in this track. I think it's a really strong track and a very underrated album as well, which there's a few of those. But, this was a choice between The Way Back Home and Rooted, and I went back and forward, but I went with Rooted as my number 10. It's a great song.
Great song. And I agree that the album is underrated. And I often wonder if it's because of the way it was sonically mixed. If that, because some people took issue with the way it sonically sounded. Right. Not the tunes, but if our listeners haven't checked out Retrograde, you definitely got to check out the album Retrograde. That was released in 2006, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great album. Absolutely great album.
I love All I Need off that as well.
Yeah, it's a lovely song.
Again, it was a B-side, and again, it was one of those instances where the B-side should have been a lead single, but that's my opinion.
I wouldn't disagree with that at all, to be honest.
How about number 9?
So number 9 is Lessons in Love. I chose this one because I guess with this being the biggest hit from Running in the Family, it made them globally famous. And if it wasn't for the song making them so popular, we wouldn't have the albums that followed. I would surmise, and we wouldn't still have them touring until the present day. So there's a lot to be said for this song. It's so populist, and maybe some people don't like that, but if it wasn't for it being so popular, then I'm not sure if we'd still have the band going in the way they are now to this day. And let's face it, it's a great catchy tune when you put it on.
Oh, it is.
You're never going to skip it. Yeah.
Yeah. Here in the States, we hear Something About You on a regular basis on 80 stations and stuff. But, you mentioned, Lessons in Love was their most popular commercial hit internationally. Yeah. So I'm really surprised that here in the States, we don't hear Lessons in Love still.
Really?
Yeah.
That does surprise me.
Yeah, it surprises me too. Number 8.
Number 8, next choice is from the Magnificent World Machine album, and it's Good Man in a Storm. I strongly suspect this might be on a few people's top 10.
Oh, yeah.
So the song, it's beautiful lyrics. It's one of my favourite songs for the band to play live too. And obviously I've heard that recently, and it was up to its usual high standard. I heard it a few weeks ago, and it's just a classic Level 42 song. It's so well written. It's perfect. I would have to say it's a perfect Level 42 song.
Yeah, I should ask this question. What's the tune that most summarizes Level 42? And I often wonder if Good Man in a Storm would be that song that would define quintessentially who Level 42 are. Yeah,
I mean, and it should have been a single too. It should have been a huge hit. It would have been a number 1 if it was promoted in the right way.
Yeah, hear. I totally agree with you there.
Yeah,
Great tune, and I'm so glad it's being played live right now.
yeah, me too.
Number seven.
Number seven is "Love in a Peaceful World."
Great,
From
great
my
tune.
opinion, yeah, it's another underrated Level 42 album, Forever Now. It's such a lovely song. It's got beautiful lyrics again, and of course, great musicianship. And my favourite part of the song is getting near the end when they're singing transmit and receive.
Oh yes,
It's perfect harmonies, and you've got the orchestral strings playing away as well. It's just, a lot of people, quite rightly, they just think of Mark's bass and Mike's keyboards, but when you add in on different songs, certain songs, the horns in the background, and in this song, the violins and whatever else, it takes it to a new level. I think people who hadn't heard that song before would be surprised actually that it's a Level 42 song if you didn't know that. If you listen to it, you'd be like, really, is that Level 42? Because it's lovely, just great harmonies, and it's a brilliant song.
yeah. Mark's not slapping away on this
Yeah,
tune.
it's very
Um,
subtle.
yeah, and Phil's writing and drumming
Yeah,
and I when we interviewed Mike Linda on the Turn It On podcast, I think we asked him, what was the one that got away that should have been,
yeah,
and I believe it was Love in a Peaceful World, and I think a lot of people feel that way.
yeah. Again, it should have been a huge hit. It was just, I guess, in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
yeah. And this is my opinion, of course. I think RCA should have released that tune first as a single for their Forever Now album, but that
Yeah, absolutely.
you can't change history. But I wish they would have released that tune first.
Yeah, it would have made people look at the album in a different way,
Yeah,
and I think it would have been a bigger hit for the band.
yeah. Especially since the album Forever Now was sort of a throwback to the beginnings.
Ah,
Yeah, because Forever Now is a great tune, but to me, it doesn't really represent the album.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I agree with that completely.
I can hear some people screaming at me for just saying that, but oh well.
Each to their own.
How about number six, Bob?
The number six is "A Floating Life."
Ah,
Um, yeah, this is my favourite True Colour song. I mean, it starts off with Phil's booming drums, do,
oh
do, do,
yeah.
do, do. And then it goes into a subtle melody. It gets quieter and quieter, before the song gets properly started. And then you move on, you get to the instrumental, near the end, with the entire
Hmm.
band. They're playing instruments like their lives depended on it. It's just such it starts off loud and bombastic, goes into the great choruses, and then just this crazy instrumental near the end. It's this amazing, absolutely amazing song.
Yeah, and hearing that, I've got to hear that live a few times,
Yeah.
and it's great live. Great live. Uh, how about number five?
Number five, we have Star Child. I
Uh,
mean, what can I say about this track? Even if you're not a Level 42 fan, this is a great, great song. Should have been a huge hit. Instead, I think it's Level 42's best kept secret. I
mm,
would say it's. I know if I heard you guys talking on the podcast about it, with various guests, and it's a go-to track for some people, but
mhm.
it's underrated. And again, it should have been so much bigger. It would have been a number one in my opinion if it'd been released at the right time and the right way. But it's just a brilliant track. I love it.
Is a brilliant track. It's always fun to see Mike perform it too.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, it's great.
And I just saw a video clip of him singing it recently, and
Mhm.
his voice, he sings it almost just like it was in the 80s. It sounds fantastic, actually.
Yeah, his voice is holding up well. It's not really changed over the years, has
Gosh,
it?
no, not at all. Mind you, he dances better than me, so I don't know what that says.
Well, I think everyone dances better than me too, Mikey, so I feel your pain.
Okay, how about number four?
So the next track, number four, is from The Pursuit of Accents. And of course, it's Eyes Water Falling. Um,
Ah,
yeah, I mean, the track, it can almost begins dreamlike almost. It's
hmm
kind of the instruments, drifting in and out. And it's as if you're in a daze listening to it initially.
hmm
And it's almost a minute and a half before the song really kicks in. And it's got this incredible, powerful bass playing from Mark, and of course, amazing keyboard playing from Mike. It's just something else. It's one of these songs. If you played to someone who didn't know Level 42 or were familiar with their work, they'd be surprised that that's Level 42 because it's almost surreal when you listen to it the first time. It's great, absolutely great.
Yeah, that's a great description of the beginning of that. It's sort of a dreamlike sort of
Yeah,
sequence, and then you start hearing Boone's guitar come in,
yeah.
and then the bass comes out of nowhere, and yeah, and then they were playing that on this tour, and they stopped playing it, I guess. So
No, they should never stop playing that.
I know. It was on that Giles Peterson show a few weeks ago, and I
That
was
was fantastic. That was something else. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I was like, in all my days, I didn't think I'd ever hear that live again. And boy, what a way to end that show. Thanks, Giles.
Yeah. Thank you, James.
Oh, we're not top three now. Number three.
Okay, number three. This is probably one that's close to your heart, Mikey. It's Turn It On.
Uh,
Um,
yeah.
so, I mean, I love the little fanfare at the start of the song, the do 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 do.
Yep.
And at the end, Mike singing falsetto along with his keyboards, and
Mhm.
it's the exact same key. I mean, it's pure level 42.
Yeah.
It's as level 42 as you could get, in my opinion. It's a great song. I love it.
I love it too. I love the live version of it off of A Physical Presence.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Uh, number two.
Okay, so my penultimate choice is from Staring at the Sun, and it's the magnificent song "Man."
Oh yeah.
I was blown away when I heard this for the first time. And it's almost 7.5 minutes long. It's in no hurry to get where it's going. It's powerful lyrics, and it's taking its time, and it also feels like it's got a little bit of a dark edge to it.
hmm
And I like that. I wish I knew, the inspiration for behind the song. You can kind of vaguely guess what it's about, but I wish I knew the ins and outs of it. But it's just a great song. It's a song I would probably, apart from Something About You, it's probably the song I play most from Level 42. It's great.
Yeah. Man is like you just said. The first time I heard "Man," I was like, "Wow,
Yeah.
brilliant!" I had nothing critical to say about it. I loved every 7.5 minutes of it.
Yeah. So
And
Johnny,
I love how the song builds there at the end as well, too. I mean,
yes.
I love the whole song, but I think the last 2 minutes of it is my favorite, to be honest.
Yeah, and the speaking bit near the
Yeah,
end, it's almost kind of creepy in a way. It's quite surreal.
yeah,
Yeah, it's amazing.
yeah. The "Hey Man, Sing the Blues." I can't
Yeah,
sing it, but yeah, it's
yeah,
and of
that's
course,
it.
and that song live, I would love to hear personally live myself. I haven't heard. I've heard it live through recording, but not in person. So,
I think I'm sure I've heard it only once live, and like you said, I would like to hear it again. It's a killer, absolute killer song.
uh, all right, drum roll. Bob Mackey's number one Level 42 hit as of today is
Well, I don't think there's going to be any great surprise here. There's only one choice it could be, and it's Something About You.
never heard
Um,
it.
you should, it's great. Um, it's a great tune. It's great lyrics. It's got a great video. It was my entry into the world of Level 42, and I don't think it's wrong to say it changed my life. It just made me appreciate music. It made me appreciate Level 42. It made me appreciate concerts and going to gigs. So that was my jumping in point, and it's amazing. I'm glad it was such a big hit for them. I mean, I suppose it was in the reverse of things, it kind of made it a bit self-destructive for the band because it got so big that the band kind of imploded in a way. But it was it's just a great song. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I'm still, every time I hear I feel the same way I did when I first heard it all these years later.
Yeah.
I still love it. I still appreciate it as much. And the thing that surprised me is when we did speak to Mike, and I think to Wally as well, last year, was that this tune nearly didn't make the album. And it's hard to imagine,
Wow. Yeah.
that it
Yeah.
came, they had
Incredible.
a version of it and it wasn't quite working. And then they kind of brought it back and it was reborn and just barely made the album. So
Well,
and
that's
again,
fate, isn't it?
I know, because it's just, again, so quintessentially Level 42.
Yeah.
And like you, I love the video. I love
Yeah.
the video.
Yeah. It's funny, I was listening I had shuffle on just playing random songs, my liked songs, and the version of Something About You came on, the instrumental version, or not instrumental, the acoustic version, sorry, came on, and I hadn't heard it for ages, and I just, it's so different from the popular version that we're aware of, but even just being an acoustic version, it was still fantastic to hear. Great song, great lyrics, and yeah.
Yeah.
Any way you look at it, it's a great song.
Yeah. Fantastic top 10, Bob, actually.
Thank you.
Fantastic. The last thing I'd like to ask you is what, if any, message would you want to say to Level 42?
Okay, well, I'd like to say thank you to all of you, every member of the band over the years, for all the hours of listening pleasure you've given me for 40 years or more. Please keep touring, as it makes me and all our fans very, very happy. And we're thrilled that you still come out to entertain us. And if you would like to record a new Level 42 album, then please do.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Bob, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for just
Likewise,
leveling
Mikey.
with me. Thanks for just leveling with me today. I couldn't wait to do this with you, and I know we had to reschedule, and I so appreciate you coming on and talking about your journey. And thanks for being part of the Micro Kids group now.
I love
And
it. Please keep them coming.
I thank you very much, and thank you guys out there for listening to Just Level with Me. And as we close the episode, this is the tune that Bob and I sort of constructed together called Out of the Blue. And until next time, take care of yourself and bye bye, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.